So here we are at our hotel in Cape Town, South Africa. It's Thursday, February the 15th. We had a nice Valentine's Day. We got here about 6 o'clock, 5:30. And walked around the waterfront. This is called the Victoria and Alfred. Alfred was Queen Victoria's son that pretty much really was responsible for a lot of the development of the seafront here. We had breakfast right here this morning, and last night we walked all around here. You can see Table Mountain. There's actually 7 mountains in this complex. We're going to go to the top of Table Mountain today on a cable car. A lot of shopping area, a lot of malls. So the atmosphere of a, say, Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, or something like that. And we had breakfast this morning and watched seals playing, and we watched birds flying down trying to take our food away. Here comes a South African person. I guess Susan wants me to come.
No, it's not high.
You have to kind of rock my head.
We're on the cable car going up to Table Mountain. We have a bird's eye view of the city center. We're on a cable car and the floor is rotating, so we get a panoramic view with some blockage from the side rails every now and again. But it's really quite lovely. View from the other side of Table Mountain.
Wait, where is it? Yeah,
so this is just outside our hotel room. We've come back after we've gone to the hospital and to the gardens, and here's the entrance to our hotel. We've come back to shop at the Victoria Wharf, and it's a huge mall, and it really is huge. It's 2 to 3 stories and multiple.
Oh, I'm just looking, thank you.
Here's one of their 4 Navy ships. South Africa has 4 Navy ships. It's a frigate. They're all brand new, and they're frigate ships. And this is the Victoria and Alfred waterfront. And we're just at the end of the Victoria Mall. And one of the parts of the mall is the Barrow Mall, which is neat. And Table Mountain has disappeared up there, but the Lion's Head is still visible. Our group.
One of those German, French. At a later stage, English was also added. So when they designed this monument, basically what it all symbolizes is these pillars here on your, well, behind you and to your left. These were the European languages. Dutch being the biggest one, English, German, French. European language influence. The little pillar in the middle on the steps, that's the Malay influence, the Malay influence. And then the wall to our right, you will see on top of the wall, there's little round hills. That will symbolize all the African.
So here's our little bus, and we're finishing up at the Afrikaans Language Museum monument, and we're going to some wineries first in the area of Paul.
You see the vines, they're not in good condition though. You see there's vines to our right. Now that is what's known as bush vines.
So we have come to our first winery in Paarl, P-A-A-R-L area. And we are going to see something unusual. They make cheese here as well, and the goats are different because they live in a tower. And they live in this tower, and there's a goat sticking his head out of the tower, or her head out of the tower. Looks like the big billy goat down here. But how isn't that interesting? A goat tower. So we're inside at the wine tasting. And Susan has bought a t-shirt. Stopped for the Huguenot Memorial and Museum. We're not going to go in the museum. We're on our way to another wine tasting. Going down to this area for a monument. So it's the Huguenot Monument. The Huguenots came here in 1688 and did a lot as far as the cultural part of Cape area and the Western Cape and South Africa.
His vision was to establish a wine industry at the Cape. Now why he had this vision? We will try and stop tomorrow at Groot Constantia. And Groot Constantia is the farm that he established, the first commercial wine farm in South Africa, Groot Constantia. And that's the farm he established as a wine farm. And he said, listen guys, we are producing fresh vegetables and food and so forth that we can sell to the sailors and the ships coming around the Cape. Because that's why the Dutch settled here. It was a replenishment station. So as long as there was fresh food for the ships coming around, that was good. They didn't want to.
And here is our second vineyard, Graham Beck Wines. Have some nice cheetah statues out front. Something we haven't seen on this trip is actually cheetahs. But we haven't gone to the areas with the open areas, like we haven't gone to big rivers that had crocodiles and hippos on purpose because we had told the guides that we wanted to find leopards in particular. This winery, very ultra modern. You actually see the wine being bottled, or actually probably a label machine.
Just about to go fishing.
Certainly does look clean.
I'm just saying it to you.
We have stopped at the Boschendal, which is a huge Cape Dutch estate, and it's one of the finest examples of Cape Dutch architecture in existence. They have a restaurant here, but that's not where we're going to eat. And characteristics of the architecture are the whitewashed walls around it. And the walls would have separated the slaves from the master. 1685.
Started out here. You know, there weren't really architects in the early days here. It was a question of what worked, happened, and people copied one another. So it evolved. Originally, the first type of houses they built, they called the pioneer style. Now, the pioneer style is like anyone will build a house, 4 walls, windows, and a roof. That's it, and a door. That's pioneer style. So very plain and simple. I'll try and show you an example of the pioneer style in Stellenbosch, in town in Stellenbosch, that you can compare. Because this is now sort of evolved and get a bit fancier. But now typical Cape Dutch is the gable above the entrance, the small little square windows, the thatch roof, typical Cape Touch of a farm setup. Typical is the gravel road, oak trees on either side.
So we've stopped for lunch at a restaurant at one of the wineries, and we've been seeing a lot of olive farms as well around here. And here's where we're going to eat lunch. I made a mistake. Here's where we're going to eat lunch. We're not going to eat at the African restaurant. Our next winery, Landsraak Wine. So there's a hotel at this winery, Landsraak Manor, and it's very old and very nice. This is just walking around town in Stellenbosch.